All right, young scholars, this is our last sort of major assessment. I want this to be worth 50 points. It's sort of creative, so it should be, hopefully, you're going to have a choice here that you will find somewhat interesting. As you saw, I was in modules, and in there is a page called Last Assessment, and it's got three choices for you in terms of writing assignments. I need this by the 22nd, which is the end of next week. You'll have this class and our other classes to work on it. You cannot turn this in late because it's the end of the semester. It's about 500 words, which is not a lot. You can go as far as 750 words. All right, so I'm recording this so that you can come back to this if you're not sure about what to do for each assignment. So you're going to pick, so these are assessments because they have to do with the theme, the style, and the genre. I'll explain what genre is if you don't know in a moment. But the first one is called Words of Wisdom, and it looks like this. So much of the novel is about the man preparing the boy for the world. McCarthy also wrote this for his son. So you're going to, and obviously the man is preparing the child with, sort of a philosophical approach. So what you would do for this one is this would be kind of like a personal statement or personal essay, but you could write it, pretend it's many years from now and you have a child, and you can write it in the form of a letter. And a letter that will, you're going to pass on your wisdom to that child. All right. So you should try to think of three of the most important ideas you would want to impart to your offspring. You don't have to do all of these. These are just to help you think about it. You might figure out what you value: work, family, what's the most important thing. Sometimes people have to put work before family, or they think they have to. Is personal growth, becoming a better person, the most important thing? What do you fear? Are you afraid of being alone, getting sick, never finding meaning, asteroids? What do you aspire to? It could be about your career or your well-being or a contribution to society. What do your morals prohibit? In other words, where do you draw the line? Will you do anything it takes to get ahead in life? Or is there, I use an example, would you get someone else fired to get a promotion because you need money for your kid's braces or something? What do you feel like you owe society? What does society owe you? What is your overall philosophy of life? Are people inherently good or bad? This is something you unconsciously decide every time you meet a person, right? Are you going to trust them, or do they have to earn your trust? Is life a battle? Is life a journey? Is life what you make it? And what the heck does that mean? All right, try to make things concrete so you can, these would be ideas that, things you might want to answer. You don't have to answer them all, but whichever one you feel like you can. How do you illustrate that? Use events from your life, people with whom you've agreed or disagreed. All right, maybe you have an uncle who views life one way, and another. I remember when my uncle retired, he was so happy to be done with work. He worked in a bank. And one day my father, who also had retired, was a teacher. He's like, don't you ever miss work sometime? My uncle's like, no. Work was just the thing he suffered through to put a roof over his family's head. For my dad, work was something that was important to him. It had to have meaning, right? That's something that, goes along up here. But I just gave you an example of people illustrating what they value, all right? And I would agree with one or the other. Ideas you've heard or read, okay? Maybe you've come across interesting philosophical ideas. Analogies are things that you can use to explain. This is, so here's some example. Hope is the thing with feathers, the cost of whatever. So I put a bunch of things here. Life is a box of chocolates. That's Forrest Gump, right? So this one is in the form of a letter, and it connects to the theme of the book. The next choice is the parody assignment, all right? All these are the same number of words. What you should do here is you're going to, I give you an example. This one's pretty funny, so read it. This person, Amanda Lear, wrote like Cormac McCarthy, and she described her life as in a quarantine with her child. So the rising sun peeled the surface from the man's sleep like a freshly taken scalp. Beside him, the boy slumbered on, cradling a plush porg. Its dark eyes bulged with terror, like a partridge caught in a snare. And they talk about things like Pop-Tarts, and she mimics the, do you want a Pop-Tart? Said the man. Yes, here you go. There's no frosting. I want frosting. Sometimes the heart must stay hungry. So obviously this parodies it's parodies kind of make fun of. And so what you want to do is have two main characters, use a third person point of view because that's what the novel is. All right, you're mimicking the style here, the way it's written. Something symbolic, if you can. Try to so the Pop Tart becomes maybe symbolic in this one. Have a journey or a mission or a goal. This one's just to get breakfast. All right, it's almost like the more ridiculous the goal is, the funnier it is. If you've ever seen like Harold and Kumar or Ted and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, those are classic heroes' journeys. But the things they want are, I think, in Harold and Kumar, they want White Castle, right? So they have this huge journey just to get hamburgers from a place. That makes it funnier. The setting can be an apocalypse, a pandemic, or some other unusual situation. It could be, it could be in the locker room after practice, hockey practice or something. Mimic the style. And then how do you do that? Um, oh, you know what? I have to change this. You don't have to quote or do the assignment. But what is this sentence structure? What makes it unique? What words? You know what? I have the wrong one up here. I will open the better one. Instead of like finding what the words are, you're going to come up with your own sort of big words. I'll correct that in a minute. Don't worry about that. Now I've lost it. I'm going to pause. Okay, I paused and tweaked it a little bit. So think about what McCarthy's sentence structure is like, because you're going to make fun of that. You're going to try to use that. Look up a word you don't know. Throw in something big, like he uses catamite and macadam. Um, if you can, try maybe using a religious reference in the book. We're about to see a religious reference in somebody's name, but also there are several different things where he talks about doing something as a say as what you call it, as like a sacred thing when he's cleaning the blood out of his son's hand. Melodrama, just be melodramatic, and you don't need to answer questions. You might try to make this thing way over the top. You'll see that in this example. Okay, so that's about style. The last one I call the Will Smith assignment. It may be a little outdated because I don't know if Will Smith is still making action movies. But here's what you do: you're going to make this more of a book that more of an apocalyptic movie that's entertaining. All right, I know it's not a movie; it's a book, but uh, take a scene. So you choose a scene from the novel and rewrite it with Will Smith or Dwayne Johnson or some, just in your mind playing the role of the man. Change this somehow. You can do something to sell the movie. Maybe it's got zombies, aliens, special effects while you're writing it. So, put in some action. Um, so maybe instead of the man just shuffling along all exhausted, he is more of an action hero. I threw in Willow Smith because when I made this, he was in a movie with his father about the end of the world or something, After Earth or something like that. Anyway, so the way you write this, you would rewrite a scene that already exists, but add some action, zombies or something. Third person point of view. Do your best to mimic the style. All right. These are the same kinds of questions from the last one. And then I put some links here to tell you about what genres are. So you can click. Sorry, I got to do that. Pick at least one or two of these and look at what it is. Conventions are things like what go into these sorts of movies, what you can expect, like what's usually in an apocalyptic movie. All right, so here's one that's pretty brief. Right, there's usually a battle between good and evil. There's lack of people, devastation, we know that, human loss of morals, cannibalism and murder, elements of faith. The Book of Eli is a movie from a few years ago. Maybe you've seen it. All right, so with this one, like I said, you're rewriting what is already there, but making it more of a cool thing that is exciting rather than sad and depressing. All right, and what I want you to do is to start that today. We'll pause on the reading for now, and I'll give you time to work on this. All right. Ask me questions now that I'm done with this. But this is here so that you can come back to it and see the explanation and make sure that you understand each of the elements of each assignment.